Okay, folks, I'm going to race through this. Got a friend of mine that's having a problem with his Apache, getting his audio running. I guess it's running. Never really answered the question. I'll show you a couple options here, and I'm going to show you a start to finish setup for the sound card and getting the audio running on the Anan. Start to finish. So the first thing you need to do, you need to take your sound card, make sure the drivers are installed, the correct drivers. You need to navigate. You can probably find it right in here. Go to Control Panel, Hardware and Sound. First thing you need to do is check the control panel of your card. Okay, so my particular card is an M-Audio Air 192.4. And my buffer size, what you need to do is you need to set your buffer size to whatever is stable. All right, I can run this at 64. Buffer size is 64, and this 192 kilohertz card, as you can see in the grayed out area, running at 192. All right. So one easy way to check that is to grab a video and play it back through the card. Like maybe go to YouTube or something. Or maybe if you have a video on your computer or something like that, play it back through your card. Make sure there's no stuttering or buffering or anything. If there's not, you're good. I like to run this as low as possible, but not so low that it becomes unstable and I get buffering, chopping, and different issues. So once that's done, all right, and this is all I know. This is all I know. So go to down here to bottom right-hand corner, right-click on the speaker icon, click Sounds. It's going to open this window. I'm assuming you're on Windows. This is for Windows only. Don't ask me about another operating system. All right, go to Playback and find your card. I found it doesn't matter whether you have it set to default device or not. It doesn't make any difference. So I'm skipping some steps. Right-click on this, on your card, go to Properties, go to Advanced, and hit the drop down. I set mine to the highest sample rate. I make sure that this in the Windows Properties is set to the same sample rate as the card is. Remember the control panel. So let me pop the control panel back up. So I make sure this is set the same, and make sure that these boxes are unchecked. That's just what I do, and it seems to work okay. All right, now go to the recording tab. Find your sound card, right-click, Properties, Advanced, okay, 32-bit. So I've got a little bit of a mismatch there as far as bit rate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Playback, M-Audio, speakers, right-click, Advanced. Let's see if there's a 32-bit option. There is. So I'm going to hit Apply. It's probably going to hijack something, so hang on. No, it did not. So it looks like we are good. So both of them set. Make sure they're both set the same. All right, now this is one thing I have happen. This is on the M-Audio card. When I went to light up OBS, I noticed I had no audio in OBS, which told me there's a conflict. So what I do generally is I go to my recording tab, the line in on the M-Audio card. I don't know if any other cards do this, but this card is prone to this. Go back to Advanced. This was set, okay, it doesn't even give me the option now. I don't know why. But it was set, Windows hijacks this and sets it at 44.1. If that happens, it ain't going to work. So this is a go-to place. If for some reason it ain't happening, double check this on the recording tab. Go to your line in of your sound card, make darn sure that that sample rate is correct. All right. All right, moving on. That is done. As far as setting things, as far as priority and stuff like that. And I was going to mention as well, I'll right click on this again, go to Advanced. Notice that this box is unchecked. All right. I hear people talk. I don't do this. I've never had to do this. Increasing the priority level of a particular device. Don't ask me. Don't do it. Don't have to. So moving on, I'm going to pull up Thetis. Okay. So let's go into setup. So what you want to do, go to your audio tab, VAC1. This is in reference to ASIO. Now the M audio card is an ASIO card. Runs on an ASIO driver. All right. You'll notice that my sample rate is set to the exact same thing as the card. Now this is the card that Thetis is communicating with. So it's set at 192,000 and my buffer size is 64. What I would do is I would start out with these unchecked. All right, apply. And we can go ahead and light the rig up. And I will go ahead and get okay. So with this configured like this, basically Thetis, see how this is, everything's unchecked here? Basically Thetis is just using the card natively without any modification. So it's just communicating back and forth with the card. So let me make sure my audio's good. It is.
Adjust that slightly more up that way and brighten it up a little bit, he says. Let's see. Okay.
So that's good. So I do not run the VAC1 monitor. I found that can be sometimes problematic. Just for me, I'm just showing you how to get started. If you have to run this, okay, without using the manual adjustments on the ring buffer and the poor audio, first of all, I would try running it like this first. Make sure the audio is completely stable. If it is not, so if your card was stable on a video or you're playing music and everything sounded fine and it wasn't stuttering, you know your buffer size, it's capable of handling that small buffer, right? What you're probably going to have to do is you're going to have to increase the buffer size here. Always start with a full auto configuration. Leave these boxes unchecked. Get it stable in Thetis. This is going to be critical. All right, if you hear it start to stutter or chop or do anything weird, you hear any glitches, it's because your buffer size most likely is too small. You're going to have to increase that. And where you go is dependent on your system. All right, so once you have this stable with these unchecked, then you can go ahead and kick these in, and you're going to have to adjust these settings. Okay, start high and go and move down from there. All right, so you may want to start at like, and I need to mention that just because, so let's say you start the ring buffer at 30, all right, and you start going down and you see it destabilize and you start seeing underflows and overflows starting to tick in. Now you'll notice I don't have any. That's your goal. You don't want to see any overflows or underflows, right? So that's your goal here. So let's say you've got everything's running fine and you want to tighten it up even more. You can drop this number, each one of these numbers, and the reason why there's an in and an out, you can kind of dial it in for the VAC out and VAC in. I don't waste my time with that. You can really fine tune this big time. So the out, this number of the out corresponds to VAC out. This number on the in corresponds to VAC in. So if you see instability in these areas, like one or the other, and the other one seems to be fine, then target that one in or out in the ring buffer and the poor audio. I can't tell you what to run. in here, as far as, because every computer cards are all different. The systems are all different. So you're going to have to find the magic bullet. That's on you. So I'm going to show you what happens. I'm going to kick the radio off. I'm going to shut it down, stop it, and I'm going to start it. Okay, you'll notice that I've got underflows and overflows here. That's not a big deal. So all you have to do is just zero these. You left click anywhere in the red, right in here, and it will zero your overflows and underflows. And then you can just sit here and watch it. Every time you start the radio, you'll see underflows and overflows. It's just the nature of the beast. So to check it, always make sure you left click in the red. It will zero them out, and then you can watch it to see if it's stable. What you want to be able to do is watch it over a period of time and see that there's no overflows or underflows there. Your goal is to get it to zero. Here's the catch. My computer is not a bad computer. It's actually a fairly good computer. And the problem with Thetis is that you need a good computer. It needs to be able to do some heavy lifting because this is a very tasking piece of software. You can see down here, this is ridiculous. I mean, I'm running at 20%, 16%. And that's probably because I'm running OBS simultaneously. Normally, it kind of idles between 8 and 20%. So it's pretty tasking. It's pretty brutal on the computer. And this is a good computer. This is a 9700 Coffee Lake running at about, I can't remember, 4.6 to 4.8 gigs, 32 gigs of RAM, running in dual channel. All SSD drives in here. So it's not a slouch. It's a very good computer. So what I will tell you is you're going to have to experiment. This is all that I know about how to get this running. Always have a fallback. All right. You can always uncheck these all. And I'm just going to tell you right now, all SDRs have a certain level of latency. Thetis is about the best out there as far as SDRs. I think it's the best, has the lowest capable latency, capable of the lowest latency. It doesn't have the lowest latency right out of the gate, but it's going to depend on your hardware, your computer, your sound card, all of the different variables in play. All right. I ran for months just on full auto with all of these unchecked. Never had an issue. Yes, if you turn the monitor on up here, you couldn't talk. There's 150 milliseconds of latency or something like that. Just enough so that you couldn't talk in a normal cadence. Made me stumble. So, my point is you may not get the latency as good as mine. It might not happen, but it should be stable and it should be easily workable. So I'll just leave it there. Don't come to me and ask me about what cards are good, what cards are bad. I run M Audios here, an M Audio card, Mackie, I run Behringer. They all seem to do a great job for me. So you're just going to have to figure that out. Fallback, safety zone, uncheck all these boxes, run it and have a good time. If you're not running, I wouldn't run the monitor anyways on transmit. I don't know why you'd want to do that. So that's just basically for checking audio, making sure your audio sounds okay. I wouldn't do that. I'd monitor straight through the card. So it's not a deal breaker, but that's all. That's it, folks. That's all I've got. That's all I know about Thetis as far as getting audio very tight. As you can see, my numbers are very low and I still yet to have overflows and underflows. Could be my system, my computer, in combination with a card. I don't know, but it just works for me. So what I always say, mileage may vary. That's it, folks. That's all I know, and I'll throw it out there, so don't ask me. I can't help you with anything else. If you can't get Thetis running, with all of these boxes unchecked, even after adjusting your buffer size, let's say you had to go all the way out to 2488 on your buffer size. My gut tells me, I don't know, I shouldn't even say it, but you got something wrong with the hardware. Also, don't think that databases do not get corrupted. I've had to reinitialize Thetis multiple times because for some reason I ended up with a corrupted database. Always export your database. When you have a working database, export it to a safe place, a separate directory on your hard drives, so you can always go back to the previous stable version that you had running. All right, 7.3, that's it. See y'all later.